We open in the Teen Tomorrow penthouse in Project Utopia Tower in New York. It's been about a week since your encounter with the robot and subsequent bureaucratic and social fallout of that. Uh, and you guys have had some time to pursue some personal projects. You kind of get the sensation that you haven't been pushed to any particular missions that you might have been. It seems the grown-ups are taking care of things now. There's no real reason or specifically cited reason for that, but you kind of get the impression that you're put on the back burner for at least a couple of weeks. But what would everyone be getting up to?
I can start.
Sure.
Yeah, so Circuit would probably still be going down the rabbit hole as far as finding out what she can about Synapse, but also like splitting the time between that and probably getting closer to oh, I forgot their name. Our
Tensor?
Yes,
Yeah.
because she is also equally like curious about pushing about her theory that she presented last game and
Hmm.
like no, this is for science now.
Tensor is very hard to maintain conversations with for a long period of time. They burn out socially very quickly. So while you have had time and conversations with them, it's hard to really get any momentum with them.
Mhm.
They kind of they are at best you could say that they are very good at establishing boundaries. They will straight out tell you I can't interact with you anymore, and they go to their room.
Fair.
But you have had conversations with them and discussed that topic off and on. As for your efforts on Synapse, what exactly are you doing with that?
I want to try and get as much information as I can, especially like validating my theory that they were probably the ones manipulating the robot. For
Okay. Are you like doing straight hacking on this? Are you trying to find out what people know about Synapse? Like, well, how are you approaching getting your info?
first, you probably go through more basic terms like just looking around, but once that hits dead end, then she'd probably start actually hacking, trying to find out like where they came from. Do we have an identity for them outside of
Hmm.
Synapse, or you know?
Okay. I'm gonna need you to make for sort of like poking around at them in like the community and finding what you know about them. That way, I'm gonna need you to make a culture roll to start with.
Oh, yay! Something I'm terrible at. Attribute for that.
Um, Probably a mental attribute. I'd say definitely since you're sort of doing this as a more long term project, and intellect would be fine.
Yay! Okay.
I would say that either your specialty in hacking or elite hackers would definitely apply.
Hmm.
Okay. Yes.
So
So,
you'll get a bonus enhancement if you get a success.
okay.
Well, I think the elite hacker is a skill trick, Matthew,
Oh yes, you're
Yeah.
correct.
but
Just hacking.
the hacking specialty would apply.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll do that. That's 6 dice. And one, two successes.
Two successes, and what's your mega intelligence?
Mega intelligence 1.
One. Okay. So that adds another two successes from scale. It's not too terribly hard to find the sort of the social information out about Synapse. Synapse is absolutely very popular in the hacking community. He's definitely seen as kind of like the dark hero of the hacking community, simply because he's a very avowed and out Terrigen member and a very out and avowed Nova. And so it's kind of like you're looking at like there's a lot of fanboy nonsense that you have to go through.
Okay.
But at the same time, you are getting you're verifying his credentials, as it were. He is as legit as everyone says he is. There's very little posturing or bullshit to his reputation. Um, and like it even amongst people who like do not like him, do not like his philosophy, who think that he's a bad element, no one disparages his ability.
Excellent nemesis to have.
Indeed. um uh but you also can tell that he is exceptionally good, but part and parcel of that is he is exceptionally good at hiding himself. Anything that he doesn't want people to know about him is, cleared away in black holes of information that, have been carved out of databases and whatnot. He's protected himself very well in that regard. Um, so I would definitely say that you have achieved a milestone in getting hard information on Synapse. You have probably enough time to achieve try another milestone, which would be an Enigma's role if you want to do it through actual hacking.
Yes. Let's do that. So it'd be Enigma 3.
I
So
made a
that's
note
gonna
of it.
be 8. Two, three, four. Tens explode.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one more. Okay. So that's 4 successes.
4 successes. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, this is much more difficult. Like you are trying to like pierce through those black holes and uncover that data and really get through to it. Um, but you are able to get something. You're able to sort of find like you're able to clear away the first layer of his obfuscation. It's very difficult to do so, but you manage to overcome the difficulty. I will tell you, mechanically speaking, your scale was contested in this, given how thoroughly of a job he's done. In other words, it was more difficult to roll because you were going up against a higher scale,
Mhm.
but you were still able to receive the second milestone. And what you're able to find out about him in more real terms is that he has never been seen post eruption. No one can claim to have physically seen Synapse. He communicates when he talks to people. It is purely through digital. He can apparently manifest holograms around systems that he's connected to, or has infiltrated and hacked. Um, and you definitely think that just based off like frequency of events, you are almost certain that he is probably based out of New York City somewhere. But that doesn't mean that that's all where he is. He can be anywhere effectively, but most things that have like his fingerprint on it can be traced back to something happening in New York City. It definitely seemed to be his base of operations. So that would be the second of 5 milestones that you need to actually get like
2 out of
pinpointed
5.
data on him.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll probably just like back this up on like a removable thumb drive and hide it in my room because this is a personal project.
Sure.
So, well, cool. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. All right, who is next? What would somebody be doing
I'll
during
go
the time that you've
next.
had?
I can go next.
Sure.
I'll do. I would. See. I would do. I reached out to a military contact to find out
Hmm.
more about Balance Industries. Not really about what they do, since you said they're on the level, but like any recent break-ins or security concerns, so I could see maybe if this scenario happened with someone else
Sure.
or doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Your contact does get back to you on that. Um, they've done some more digging regarding that, um, and they provide you some very interesting information about Balance Industries. Like I've said before, they're a military contracting company, um, and they let you know that it seems like one of their big projects that probably was connected to this research facility that they were building nearby, is they have recently secured the contract from the United States military to start building a Nova team.
Oh, okay.
And there's a lot of cloak and dagger stuff regarding that. Very recently, the U.S. government tried to establish an American Nova team, and you're not sure why, but that effort fell through. Something went wrong in the establishment of it, and your contact is pretty sure that they have switched their efforts from going like directly with the U.S. military and the U.S. like intelligence services to going through a private military company to set up something like that.
Gotcha.
As for security breaches, contact lets you know that they can't find any information about that.
Mhm.
But it's not because he basically says either they really haven't gotten any security informations about it, or they're putting a lot of effort into covering up any security breaches are happening.
Mhm.
And it's very hard for him to tell which one of those things are true.
Gotcha. And then, other than that, I would have asked a Project Utopia contact if they knew anything about this Aeon Society experiment with the animals.
That is going to be a path roll.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to roll your path rating in Team Tomorrow
Okay. Just one.
with a social attribute.
I think it'd be manipulation.
Okay.
That's gonna be 4.
Because you're essentially trying to get information and access from your own organization.
Mhm. Depends on how loud you want it to be.
Yeah,
And it's 7s or 8s that are successes?
it's 7s.
Okay, I got 3 successes then.
Great.
Hmm.
Yeah, you get a follow-up from someone from the Aeon Society. Like it kind of goes through a couple levels of the chain of command. And they basically respond with, yes, that was a thing that was happening. It was not necessarily endorsed by or sanctioned by Project Utopia. They didn't entirely know the full extent of what Aetherwave was having planned, just based on like previous good relations with that. But they say that they are fact finding on that specific aspect of it because it's actually hard to get in contact with Aetherwave right now and to verify that. But they are fairly certain in the next few days they're going to release a public statement basically clarifying that that's not something that Utopia or Aeon condones or appreciates, and that they're basically going to put out a statement of like apology and not so much condemnation, but kind of a finger wag on Aetherwave.
Gotcha. And then the only other thing I would have been or Liberty Lad would have been doing would be just would I have known that the Legacy had something to do with that gala event?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like after a couple of days, you
So I
would
know
have.
what happened at that thing.
Yeah, exactly. After a couple of days, it's not hard to pin down and find the various social media recordings of like, oh yeah, they absolutely were there, and they caused a ruckus.
Yeah, I would definitely start like kind of stalking them online, maybe comparing social media followings, maybe thinking about getting that 10-year-old a gig. Just kidding.
Okay. Actually, that's one thing about that adventure that is not known about what their harassment of a 9-year-old. That really doesn't come up in any of the reporting.
Yes, that was a sly reference, a fourth wall, if you will.
Indeed. But yeah, so anything else you would be looking into?
No, I'm quite all right. Thank you very much.
Cool, fantastic. All right. Livon or Virginia, what would you guys be up to?
Well, I think Virginia said she doesn't have a particular personal project going on right now, and definitely took the information to heart from, I forgot the name of our contact, who is our
Alexander.
Alexander.
Alexander, yeah,
Ugh.
basically took Alexander's critique to heart and has actually been doing a lot more like physical work,
Okay.
and has interspersed that sort of with her usual trying to keep up on her basically her medical reading,
Mhm.
and also doing some cleanup in the community since there's been a big old mess.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can definitely spend some time in Central Park dealing with the aftermath of that, whatever's gone on there. There's no reports as far as you can tell of like animals rampaging. You're pretty sure that Utopia got that cleaned up pretty good. Um, but yeah, you can definitely spend a lot of time in the park cleaning up after the mess there, as well as doing your reading and whatnot.
I think it's a
Question.
yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Question about when you said physical work. Are you like training, or are you just what are you doing? What do you mean by physical work?
Sure. No, I do think that she's sort of, put some focus into physical training.
Okay.
I'm looking to adjust her sheet based on that in the future,
Okay.
but
Sure.
she definitely took that critique and went with it.
Okay.
In regards
Noted.
to the park and stuff, it's more of a matter of one, she wants something to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
and two, um, excuse me, and two, she knows that it's important for them to be seen helping as much as there was an issue with what we broke we need to be seen fixing.
Hmm. Okay.
So
Yeah. No, you can definitely
she'll
put
be
yourself
there
out there and get that image and message
I
out.
have an idea. If you'll let me interject.
Sure. Go ahead.
So during the course of the week, because you're not doing like a super much, like you don't have a huge focus,
Mhm.
that's obviously distracting you, and you're obviously studying up medical work. Due to the nature of your powers and what Utopia likes to do, you're probably called in a few times to help assimilate new novas. That are like basically have recently erupted and are still trying to get a hold of their powers, and that always is an emotionally turbulent time, and your ability to focus cause people to focus and listen to you can really help dampen that down. So there's probably probably start talking to some doctors and a couple like therapists and people in the facility that will actually like working with other novas.
Okay. No, I think that's really great of basically giving her a something to focus on that feels like she's not abusing her powers but still gets to use them.
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. What about Schwarzschild?
I kind of take things easy. I have a nice exchange with an old friend of mine, and that I think rekindles some interest in the natural world. So, in as much as he can get away, um, I think he's going to try and spend a lot of time in Central Park at the very least, if not maybe taking a few day trips up to like maybe the Adirondacks or somewhere upstate where he can just kind of be away from it all and just think and enjoy life outside the city for a little bit.
Hmm. And that's perfectly acceptable. You do get called in probably in the early stages of this little period of downtime to help clean up the construction site.
Hmm.
They definitely want you out there visibly, like lifting up steel girders and cleaning up wreckage.
Sure.
That's something you do get assigned, and you get a lot of photo ops on that. It's not hard for you to do any of that, and it's a fairly contained and controlled scenario. But yeah. You're able to get out of town, get into the park a couple of days, get out to the Adirondacks, and it's nice and relaxing.
Cool.
So like I said, we'll come back to the penthouse once everyone's had some time to focus on personal projects. and you guys still are getting kind of the impression that you're not being activated for anything, at least for another week or so. And you guys have a moment where you guys can kind of compare notes, discuss things, and
Mm.
plan your next steps as a team.
Well, everybody seemed pretty busy. Everybody doing okay? We haven't actually had a time to sit and chat much.
I mean, they got me, lifting heavy stuff, so that's fun. I mean, it is fun. It's nice to, see how much I can do, push my limits, but not exactly super thrilling.
Oh, one note. I will, if anyone wants to, we'll have to go through, do a couple of rolls, but I will let everyone have maxed out something if for XP progression purposes. Just so we can, if you guys want to have done that, if you have anything that you want to be planning on purchasing quantum wise, we'll say that we will have to do rolls as far as flux accumulation and the like. But if there's anything along those lines you'd like to do, we don't have to do it right now, but
Okay,
it's
yeah.
something you can do.
That's what I was going to ask.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, how much have we cleaned up of the construction site and the resulting giant hole in the street?
Oh, it gets cleaned up very quickly. Like you get the definite impression that like they had you do like the biggest, most showiest things, but it was mostly cleaned up by the time that they called you in. So they just you definitely like hear people talking about like, oh yeah, we left the big stuff laying around in like conspicuous areas specifically for photo shoots.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's basically completely cleaned up.
Okay, good.
Okay.
And I'm assuming Utopia has spun it the best that they can.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's not a lot like people. There's some backlash regarding the explosion and like the crater that was formed, but for the most part, a robot went crazy and Team Tomorrow took care of it. Like that's it's kind of par for the course.
Yep.
This shit happens.
Yeah. Thank God we had Team Tomorrow there to just, fix the problem and deal with it. Look, they're even helping rebuild and clean up.
Society has returned to normal.
Yes, the nature is healing.
Liberty Lad would have shared the information that he had gotten. I mentioned in the chat with Circuit and the rest of the group as well about both Balance Industries and the Aeon Gala.
Wow.
So, like, specifically, it's not a super team for any particular branch of the armed services, is it?
I think it's just one for America. Makes me feel kind of redundant.
I mean, Team Tomorrow is all about the whole world, but we explicitly don't report to the U.S. government, so I can understand why, Uncle Sam would want to have a team that ultimately answers to them.
For what that means, yeah.
Well, I suppose it would be easier than hiring a bunch of mercenaries every time you need to get something done.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
But think about it. They haven't said anything about this publicly. You think they're trying to hide it?
I mean, that's how they always do stuff. They hide stuff till they don't. I mean,
Yeah, but you'd think they'd want a big ribbon cutting ceremony or something like that, wouldn't they?
probably, but only when it's done.
I mean, it
Might not
depends
be
on the
ready.
Novas.
Well, that's the thing. They had tried to do it before, but it didn't work. So I wonder what's
Yeah.
different this time.
Yeah, why did that fall apart?
That's the interesting question.
Why did it fall apart?
Hmm.
Searching.
Let's
I
think
was
back.
like, oh no, Nisha's got the look in her face.
Let's see. What would be a good role for that?
That's either enigmas because that's definitely a mystery.
Yeah, that would be enigmas. You can roll enigmas. Intellect. Yeah, intellect is fine with that if you want to try and
Okay.
dig into that and find out stuff.
Yeah. Let's see what we can find real fast.
I'm going to put a 2-point complication on this, just so you know.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be using some like microfilm.
6.
Library's closing.
Oof. That is 2 successes.
2 successes. So with your 1 scale, that would be a total of 4. What's the complication, Matthew?
Complication is you can buy it off so that you can cover your tracks while doing this, so that because you're looking into possibly some state secrets.
No.
So if you don't buy it off, you could potentially succeed, but somebody may be aware of your presence, or you can buy it off, but you may not succeed.
Ah. Mm,
Who cares about buying things off?
Yeah.
Utopia will handle that.
yeah, seriously. Let's just go right ahead.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
noted.
Okay, so you look into and you find out some information about something called the Flag Bearers Initiative, which was it was a national Nova team that was being set up. And the reason that it fell apart was funding. They couldn't compete with Project Utopia or the DeVries Agency in terms of recruitment bonuses. And they just could not compete on that field. Basically, no one would sign up for the budget that they were aligning with. So they're going through a private contractor in order to get the money needed to actually recruit Novas.
Ah. So it all comes down to money. Uh,
Hmm.
Apparently the Flag Bearers Initiative. And apparently when they tried to do it the first time, it failed because they just couldn't compete with the Rise and other organizations as far as funding.
Well, okay, but if they're going through a private group instead, that means that whatever team they end up with is going to have, what's the phrase, 2 masters? Okay.
I mean,
That sounds like nothing can go wrong at all.
joint control is better than no control, I suppose.
Okay, point. Well, we'll see.
Besides, depending on whatever it is that so if it were me, and I ain't good at this sort of thing at all, but if I were some pencil pusher in the Pentagon wanting to get a super team together and private industry was the only way to do it, I'd give that company a whole bunch of real nice tax breaks. And then if they were all like, we don't want to send our guys out to a place, blah, 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 then I'd just take all them tax breaks away.
It's amazing when you try to do what you think is government accent, Levon.
Thank you.
Seems legit.
No,
I mean,
you make a point though.
There's ways to control a business if you're a government.
You don't think that this other team that, was at the Tavern on the Green, they might have something to do with this secret government team? I mean, for this one to just kind of pop up. Do you?
Really? I don't know. It looks like mayhem down there.
No, I don't think so. I've got some info. They weren't. No, they're not associated with them. No.
Wait, you have info?
I got my sources.
What's their name? Is he blushing?
Well, so say what? Sorry.
Is he blushing?
No.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Ooh.
Oh.
She is a friend of mine, and I would very much, before I say anything else, appreciate y'all's discretion. All right.
You don't have to say anything if you don't want to.
Just I know one of the people who was involved. I reckon their heart was in the right place. I don't know. just yeah. To answer your question, no, they didn't have anything to do with that an old initiative.
I mean, if I was in love with someone, I'd want everyone to know, but that's just me. But we'll say no more.
I didn't say that. What I'm
You-
no.
You said discretion, not no comment at all. If you would like no comment at all, please clarify.
I'm fine. Y'all can say whatever you want.
So you're saying for Valentine's Day, you're going to be busy, so don't schedule any team building exercises.
Okay.
Do you need help?
He's not really reacting much to Liberty Lad, but when you say help, he fixes you with a stare that is equal like terror and fury and just jerks his head no.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Hey, humor aside, what was their reason for all of that? Was it just what she was yelling about on stage?
It was the animals, the critters, the experiments that have been that
So
they
yes.
loosed.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. I mean, she's like me, you know, we both like the out of doors and all that stuff. So
Oh, so it's the animal one. She looks familiar.
Oh, I think I've messaged her before.
What?
Oh yeah, she like made a post, but it was supporting freaking PETA of all people, and I had to clarify
PETA.
some information for her because there's no way anyone who cares about the environment would support PETA.
I mean,
Well, at least it wasn't that other one, the annoying one with the long hair or whatever.
Sovereign.
Yes. I do know her.
Wait, personally?
We ended up working together briefly during a conference, something for influencers. I think they just put us together because we had very opposing views on channels, or at least different tones. She talks a lot.
I was about to say, did she let you get a word in?
I don't really require that many.
Oh, I'm sorry you had to deal with her regardless.
Honestly, I'm just a bit surprised to see. I'm interested to see what her, at least from what I'm aware of her perspective, what her take on all of this is. She seemed a very self-centered individual, and so something that is this outgoing towards a cause like this seems unusual.
Maybe Fawn talked her into it? I mean, it seems like she would have a good reason. I can't really think of. The Rant was there too.
I mean, he likes to push stuff over anyway, so you know, maybe that was just him doing it and them all going along for the ride. I don't know.
There was a stage.
There was a stage.
Well, I
Have
don't
run
do this
across-
for attention.
I have run across him before, but there were no words, and it did not go well.
Did he hurt you?
No, in fact, I was attempting to keep his influence from a crowd from escalating into violence. I feel like we gained a measure of each other across the crowd and understood that we could push the issue, but we would possibly cancel each other out and didn't know what would happen.
Storyteller question, because I cannot find my notes right now. Was Rant the character that we established I had the brief tussle with, or was that
I know that was Aterrados.
Okay. Then I will say nothing about Rant.
Yeah, so you guys have some time to shoot the shit and go over things. Is there any projects that anyone want to get started on?
Well, now Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Is there? I would probably want to research more. Well, I can't really research that much, but maybe try to find out the Flag Bearers Initiative, like if there's like where they're based out of. Would any of that have been public knowledge about the Flag Bearers?
Um, Not really. You don't like when looking for it on sort of general knowledge. There's not a lot of public knowledge about it. It was a government program that didn't happen. So it's it's whatever what might have been out there has been scrubbed from things because it's not a thing anymore. Um, Whatever the you don't think that they're going to use the same name for the private military project. So you're not sure what name it might be going by.
Gotcha. Does Balanced Industries do any work with Project Utopia?
Not based on the information that you've already gathered, not directly. You don't think that there's any direct connections there. There might be like, a project here, a project there, but there's no official relationship between the two.
Mhm.
I think I would put out feelers to see if there's any sort of event there, like maybe even like a conference or like a trade show where there'd be Project Utopia and Balanced Industries there. And anything like that, I would try to see. I would try to reach out to like maybe Alexander and see if I can, in the future, maybe make an appearance for Project Utopia, but secretly. Don't tell anyone else this, Scott. I'd be trying to find out stuff about the Balanced Industries in this team.
Oh, no shit.
You can tell Matt, but no one else.
Okay,
No
all
one-
right. We'll keep it
good.
buttoned up.
Comes the word.
Okay, yeah, all right. We can work on that in the future. Anything else that anyone want to get started on?
Oh, something I forgot to do with Schwarzschild, leave on a little while ago. Could you make me, Nigel? Could you make me an empathy roll or technologies, one of the two, whatever you want to use?
Empathy or technology?
Yeah, and then probably with cunning because it's perception related.
I have got Tech 1 for either. I've got 1 for either.
Mhm.
And cunning, I've got 2. So my dice pool will be 3 no matter what. Does it matter what I pick for flavor?
No, no, not. What do you mean by flavor?
Like if I roll empathy versus technology.
Oh no. This will you'll get the same result.
Okay, then
So it doesn't matter.
I'm.
But I
I am
will let
rolling.
you get the is bullshit is your specialty, right?
It is.
You may add your specialty of bullshit into this
As enhancement.
as an
Okay.
enhancement.
Here we go. 1 success. So with my enhancement, with bullshit, does that add 1 or 2?
One.
Okay, so 2 successes total.
All right. You barely. This actually, because you're kind of talking with everyone and you see spark flying around circuit, it reminds you of something you kind of like saw on the edge of your vision, and it kind of clicks in your head finally what you saw out in the woods. You realize that when you were out sort of hiking, you were being followed by likely a small, very like micro drone.
Huh.
Like just outside the periphery of your vision. You didn't like you saw it a couple times throughout your entire like expedition, but you didn't really get what it was. But then when you see spark with circuit, you're like, oh, that was a flying drone. Like a very small, silent flying drone.
Huh. I'm guessing I didn't get a good enough look at it to figure out like any details.
No, unfortunately you didn't roll well enough. Yeah.
Okay.
You're just
All right.
now aware that was likely what you saw.
Hey, Nisha?
Yeah?
Would you do me a favor and pull up any schematics you can find on micro drones that Utopia may deploy?
Oh, yeah, sure. I can do that.
Just when you got time. I don't want to bother you.
The only other thing I was going to do was see what those Sovereign and all them had to say about what went down. So no, this will be quick.
All right.
just a basic roll, or
This is going to be how deep do you want to go?
how far down are the micro is the file on micro drones?
Okay.
It'd be under M.
Yeah, this would probably be an Enigma's roll. Yep.
Okay.
Or D for drone, comma micro.
So I'll let you decide. You can either make this Enigma's roll and be like more of a straight hacking, you're sort of digging up information, or you could roll your society path and go like through the official channels, like to get like because as a Team Tomorrow member, even though you're not like full adults, you have a lot of quote unquote security clearance in Utopia. So there you may be able to get access to things more legitimately than like literally going past Utopia's firewalls.
But going through the firewall sounds more fun.
Fair. That is
Firewalls it is.
Firewalls it is. No.
Besides, if anyone catches you, you can just claim it's practice.
4, 5, 6. Absolutely. And
I'm gonna assume she's used that excuse at least twice already.
that is 6 successes.
Excellent.
There's a whiteboard somewhere with hash marks.
Yeah. Okay. So there's going to be a because you're doing it. There's going to be a 1-point complication. Would you like to buy that off?
Yeah, I'll do that this
Basically,
time.
you're covering your tracks again. But it's easier because you're inside the system already.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you dig up and you talk to Schwarzschild a little bit about what he like. I forgot. I'm sorry. Did you mention what you saw?
Yeah, he talked to her about it.
Yeah, like I said, just look up information on micro drones. But
Okay, well, the information on micro drones, specifically the ones that Utopia deploy, there's a small suite that they have developed. One of which is patterned a little bit after Spark, but most of them, I mean, they probably have several normal scientists and Nova scientists working on this kind of technology. So there's a whole variety that Utopia uses for all manner. Specifically, there is a couple types, mostly camera and audio, that they would have here in this facility that you guys are in, and they mostly deploy them for sort of like security work. Not just of the facility, but like if there's an emergency, they will send out a fleet of these to get as much of information as they can about the emergency and then relay information back to whoever needs that information. So if Schwarzschild saw one of these, or whatever, it's possible that it came from Utopia, or it could have been somebody else who's been fiddling around with this very unique technology.
I'll go ahead and share with Nisha what I saw and just my recollection of it.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's definitely, after he describes it, that's definitely likely one of the drones they used in Utopia, like in this facility.
Yeah, she'll just kind of like swipe a few over and be like, I bet it was this one. Seems like it would have the best capability to keep up with you, and it makes sense that they would want to keep their eyes on us.
I suppose, but like, are one of these things always following me?
I mean, we could test it.
Hmm.
Did you like have to put in a clearance to when you went to Aterrados, or did you just go?
I mean, I notified them that I was leaving the tower and where I was going because, protocol, but that was it. I didn't have to put in a request or anything.
So nothing specific requesting privacy, so then they would have no reason not to send it after you.
I guess I didn't realize I had to explicitly request for privacy.
Well, from their point of view, like, we're an investment and they would want to keep an eye on us.
I'm also a young man. I'm just saying, I don't want somebody getting hours of my daily whack off sessions.
No, I understand.
Because it's constant. It's all the time.
God.
Sure it is. Anyway, I can understand how privacy would be a utmost concern, especially in light of recent events.
I mean, in all seriousness, I am out there, I'm camping, so no running water if I don't want if we're supposed to be this great PR thing, me digging a hole to shit in isn't exactly going to be well. I'm sure it'll be real entertaining to a whole lot of people, but
if it makes you feel any better, I'm pretty sure it's just footage that they wanted in case anything happens out there. But we can look and see what we can do for other options to secure more private rendezvous, especially if you need to set up a date.
Circuit, not you two.
It's so cute. I'm sorry.
She's a friend.
Are you sure? She could be more than a friend. She's pretty cute.
Not disagreeing with you, but it's complicated. I mean,
okay.
It's complicated.
Fine. I suppose it's enough of something to look into as far as personal security.
I mean, the same thing extends to all y'all.
I know.
Cranking it or otherwise, I reckon that there's moments that y'all would enjoy to have your own privacy.
I mean, yeah.
So at this point, very suddenly, the door to Tensor's room just sort of like slams open. And they come out and like just kind of like they come out their room, they kind of like pace around a little bit. Like they kind of a cop a little bit, and like they're clearly like trying to muster the ability to express something, but it seems to be very difficult for them. I have something. I think you all should see.
Okay, we're coming. Sure.
No. I'll come. She can.
You
They
bring it up on the big board.
Yeah. They come and they bring out their little laptop thing, and they say, so I was a little curious about something. There was a news report about you guys heard about that thing that's happening on the Libyan border, right?
No.
Okay, maybe you're not up to date to it. There's like it's kind of like a demilitarized zone. And it's kind of like kind of a holdover from the Equatorial Wars, kind of a place that no government really want to go. And in about a week ago, there started to be reports that there's some sort of compound out there, like just like a fortification that just very quickly got built. And there was somebody got pictures recently, and I found something. I was going through and I got a little curious because I don't know, something didn't feel right in the information flow of it, and I found something that and I got it, and I snatched it out, and I got it. I got it's a short video, and it's being repressed. It got spiked, and I think you guys need to see it.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're listening. Go ahead.
So they put their laptop down and they wave their hand, and it gets projected out in front of all of you, and you see this kind of like OpNet article, full multimedia article about this compound and how it's suspected is related to a elite who has kind of gone rogue by the name of Ogun. They kind of the scuttlebutt is that they're building sort of their own private army out in this sort of like demilitarized refugee zone. But Tensor like does some manipulation with the data, and she pulls out like an area and kind of like uses something that unveils part of the thing that clearly it got edited or something got taken down from it, but they restore it. And what you see It's an image of a very large, very secure, heavy-looking fence that has like a dirt road behind it, and like several levels of like barricades and fortifications in front of it. And there are about 5 figures that sort of come up to the fence from the other side. They look very young, like adolescents at the oldest. And one of them pulls out a large, kind of very, very ragged looking, kind of thrown together sign. And they throw it up against the fence and just sort of like starts banging it against the fence. And it looks like they like look out into the distance a little bit, and they hold the sign steady for a bit, and that's when you're able to read it. And it says, "Team Tomorrow, please help." And you can also make out that this particular person is wearing a Liberty Lad T-shirt.
Just to clarify, does the sign say team tomorrow
It
or
says
teen?
"Teen Tomorrow," Teen.
Oh god.
And then a black Jeep sort of like comes around a bend, and like a couple of like slightly older looking children with guns scoop the kids up and throw them in the van, and they drives back behind the fence.
All right.
Oh fuck.
I'm
Well, we need to go.
yes.
Liberty Lad, I need you to make me a culture roll real quick.
Definitely going to be like intelligence
Or cunning.
or cunning. Sure, something mental.
Yeah, they're both the same, so okay. It's just difficulty 1.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. One success.
It's really easy to pick this up. That wasn't an official branded shirt. It was a knockoff.
So is it a trap?
You don't know.
It could
You
be.
can just tell that's not one of the shirts that you're making money off of.
Huh. Kid's got a bootleg shirt. Do you think they made? This makes me think that,
that
it could
can't
be
be
a
what you're
trap.
I
No,
mean,
no, I'm saying that if someone didn't like us, they would just make up something because they know that I'm somewhat of a moron and would be headstrong.
I mean, you're not
I mean,
a moron.
I don't feel like there's anything wrong with trying to check it out, but I definitely want to proceed with caution because
Yeah.
Either way, it's kids. If
Yeah.
kids are wrapped up in a trap, that's horrible.
I mean,
No, we're going. I think there's something more to this.
well, okay. Are we?
I am. You can come with him if you like.
Well, soldier boy, ain't we got a chain of command here?
Hey, Matthew.
Well, let's
Scott,
call him in then.
Yep. Well, yeah. What's up?
is there
sorry.
a way to read behavior and see if I can get a better read on their state?
Absolutely. Sure.
It'd be an empathy roll.
Excellent, thank you.
Definitely cunning.
Mhm.
Since you're reading off video, it may be a little difficult.
I'd like to use my. So you said empathy. I'd like to use my spec in behavioral health as well.
Absolutely. Oh, and just so everyone knows, you have 4 momentum on the board. You
Awesome.
start every game with 4 momentum. So if you want to use it, it's there. If you fail rolls, it will get added.
Anybody want me to juice this or keep it as is?
You can juice it.
Yeah,
cool
I'm
with it.
fine with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Then I will take one as well.
Yep.
Right.
Go ahead and add your enhancement from your heightened senses because you're visually seeing things.
Got it. Okay, so let me see. And now it's like now we've reached bigger numbers.
Yep.
And then the heightened senses is 1, correct?
It's not a die. It's
It's an
enhancement.
enhancement. No, you're correct. Okay, so all right. Oh boy. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes,
That's including enhancement.
not including enhancement.
So that's 7 more.
Mhm.
That's 2 more, so 7 total.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
yeah, the children who had the sign, all clearly like genuinely terrified. Um, uh, and like with that level of success, you can also tell that the people who got out of the Jeep to corral them were also like keeping it better in check, but they were also scared.
Um, if it's a trap, then the kids aren't in on it. And she'll literally just start like raising a hand and showing, body language and pointing out gestures of.
Something you notice on like
Mhm.
replay, because you're probably looking at it a few times real quickly.
Mhm.
The older kids, something's off about them. You're not sure what. Even with your level of like perception, that you notice anything's off is what allows you to just know that. Like your superhuman ability to see images and to process data is what tells you there's something off, but you cannot ping it what it is.
Okay. Uh, the children are absolutely terrified, and the older children are are still very frightened. Either the consequences of what's going on, I can't read, but if it's a trap, the children aren't lying about it. We have to
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. We have the resources of Team Tomorrow available to us, which includes Slider, so we can get there nice and quick. And in case this is a trap or if things go sideways, then we'll have somebody else who can come in and make sure that we don't, get reduced to chunky salsa.
I agree. Nisha, do you know who spiked this?
Let me see.
Who didn't want it seen?
That's a good call.
That's going to be an Enigma's roll.
Oh, yay. Seven, 8. Okay. Enigmas. 1, 2, 3. 3 successes.
It's not very difficult to figure it out. That is Project Utopia like information control technology that is being deployed to spike that specific image.
Oh. Utopia spiked it.
When was this video taken?
Tensor, they bring up a thing that says, I think about 2 days ago.
Change of plans. If Utopia is the one who's making this go quiet, then maybe we don't report it up. Fuck.
Hence the question. Okay. So what
Well-
do we do to get there then?
I mean, I can carry one of y'all, but
I mean,
don't know
it's-
how. They sent a micro drone after me when I went out to go camping. So
Oh yeah,
Okay.
they'll definitely.
Can't Tensor do something?
As you guys are discussing this and are kind of in a state, the if you're looking any television screen, any sort of like the lights dim, the sort of slightly like the yellow lights of like warning come on. Any like active television gets shut off, and the door immediately opens, and Alexander walks directly to. He's got a small entourage of people. They don't look like guards; they look like more bureaucrats with him, and he's got his pad with him, and he is looking very stern and going, I apologize for this, but I'm putting you all on lockdown.
And that's where we'll end it this week. Tune in next time to see where things go from here on Aberrant Atomic Youth. Don't forget to follow the characters on Twitter to see more of the story, and follow Simulacra RPGs for updates on the show and the channel. If you'd like to support the show, you can subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels at Simulacra TV, but the best way is to go to patreon.com/Simulacra Studios and become a patron. A big thanks to our $5 and up patrons. You keep the story going, and we couldn't do it without you. Until next time, remember, your legacy is our future.